You're listening to Glove Up or Shut Up on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
We do have a show this week in Australia, and it's a wacky start time. So the Fight Pass fights start, or sorry, not Fight Pass. It's all on Fight Pass.
Yeah,
the
it's a total Fight Pass show.
Prelims on this show start at 7:45. So the main event card, there's only 4 fights on it, won't start till 11. So you're looking at the Mark Hunt, Stipe Miocic main event, with any luck starting around 12:30 Eastern, maybe 1 o'clock, maybe 12:45 at the latest. But I mean, if that's a 5-round main event fight and it goes all 5 rounds, you're going to be exhausted. That's for sure.
I don't know. That's not so bad, really.
All right, so let's talk about this main card here for the show on Fight Pass, and let's start at the top. Mark Hunt, Stipe Miocic. A very interesting fight for sure, and a definite rankings fight here, and this definitely has an effect on the rankings. Stipe Miocic is ranked number 4, and Mark Hunt's ranked number 5.
Right.
So definitely, if Hunt wins, he'll take over number 4. If Miocic wins, do you move Miocic up to 3?
Yeah, you could.
Miocic would take over for Travis Brown. I mean, the heavyweight division is pretty stacked with Kane, Verdum, and Dos Santos top 1, 2, 3. Or champ 1, 2, I should say.
And Stipe Miocic is minus 225. That's the favorite. Mark Hunt is the plus 185 dog.
I've heard worse odds.
Yeah, that's actually a little more competitive than I thought it would be. I figured Miocic would probably be a heavy favorite.
Pardon the pun?
No, actually, if the pun was applied, it would be to Mark Hunt. That's a guy who has to cut to get to 265.
Like Brock did back in the day.
Well, Brock's just muscularly huge. Hunt's just huge, period.
He's Roy Nilsson huge. Well, I mean, as far as the fight goes with Hunt and Miocic, I don't think Hunt wins this fight, even though it's his hometown. I hate saying that because I love seeing the hometown guy win, but I think Miocic is just that much better, like just marginally better, and I think he wins, I hate to say this, but decision.
Maybe. Well, Hunt has a puncher's chance.
He does. What about Brad Tavares and Robert Whittaker?
That should be a good fight.
That should be entertaining for sure. Any prediction on who wins that one?
Let's see. Whittaker is the plus 140 dog. Tavares is the minus 160 favorite. That sounds about right to me. I would have favored Tavares in the fight.
No, Tavares is number 14 in the division to Whittaker's not ranked at all. So, Tavares is trying to stay relevant in the middleweight division. I don't think he goes up if he wins this fight, but he definitely can't lose that spot in the rankings if he loses. Looking at the bottom 4 for middleweight, you got Philippou, Boch, Tavares, and Carnero, and Carnero's damn good.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, if Tavares has a bad performance but wins the fight, like, we're talking like skinnier teeth, both fighters crap the bed, I can see Carnero jumping up to 14, Tavares down 1 to 15. Easy.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think Tavares wins, but, he's got to be careful. He doesn't want to get caught with something here because that could hurt him, especially now with the upcoming sponsorship deal with Reebok about how,
Well, it's no longer strictly based on the ranking. You now get merit for the longevity you've had in Zuffa. Like, WEC and Strikeforce, when they were owned by Zuffa, also count. So, say if you've had 12 fights combined between the 3, you get a percentage based on that and not solely on your ranking.
Well, speaking of sponsors, apparently John Jones is losing sponsors left, right, and center.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't bring that up earlier when we were first discussing him because everybody's pretty much coming out of the woodwork to abandon him.
But when you see an athlete fall from grace and a lot of sponsors drop them as a result, you kind of wait and see what they do, and then once they get back and they make their return, sponsors are falling over each other trying to sign them again.
Yeah.
So I think it's just ebb and flow right now.
I'd agree.
All right, let's move on to the next fight on the main card, and it's Sean O'Connell against Anthony Perosh.
Coin flip. O'Connell's the plus 135 dog. Perosh is minus 155.
Yeah, it has potential to be fight of the night because it's so close. Both fighters are going to try to make a statement here.
Well, and Perosh is like a big favorite whenever there's a show in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
They always put him on the card, so he will rally the fan support.
What about Jake Matthews and James Vick rounding off the main card?
Pretty close line on this one as well. Matthews is minus 175 as the favorite. Vick is plus 155.
It's another coin flip, another exciting fight for sure. Anything on the prelims that catches your eye? Because I see a few names on here that I recognize.
Well, I like the fact there's a fight between Kyle Noak and Jonathan Webb. This is a good coincidence because I just interviewed Nahshon Burrell about fighting Lyman Good for the Cage Fury Fighting Championship welterweight title, and the reason he gets to fight for the welterweight title is that Jonathan Webb used to be the champion, vacated the belt, and guess where he went? UFC. So he'll be fighting the hometown hero Kyle Noak.
I like Hatsu Hioki and Daniel Hooker.
That should be a good fight, and Hioki is the favorite in that one. Minus 280 to plus 240.
Another fight I want to see is Sam Alvey and Daniel Kelly.
Oh, Smiling Sam, of course. Mm-hmm. He's a big favorite in this one, minus 400.
Yeah, he really should take advantage of this, and a big win here will set him up nicely for his next fight.
I agree.
Let's see, what else?
Vic Bruchik and Brendan O'Reilly?
Yeah, that could be good. What about Dylan Andrews and Brad Scott?
That'll be good as well.
This is a good card. I mean, people should not sleep on this one.
I mean, it may not be mainstream names that casual fans know, but if you follow UFC and you're a hardcore MMA fan, it's a good card.
I think some casual fans might tune in on this. I mean, if they're sick and tired of playoff hockey and basketball. I was thinking football for some reason. I was watching the draft last week.
I guess, yeah.
A lot of football stuff in my head right now.
I mean, Mark Hunt is a big enough name that it can draw some casual fans for that fight. But, the rest of this card, I would say, is still pretty much a card for the hardcores. It's on Fight Pass for a reason.
The only thing I think that hurts it for the casual fan is the late start time as opposed. It's an hour basically added onto it. If you're on the East Coast, it kind of hurts. But it shouldn't hurt that much.
But I still say it's better than a show starting in the middle of the morning.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's move on to some news here real quick. And one of your favorites is signed with Bellator, Stevie.
Yeah, you used the word favorite facetiously in this case because I don't have anything personal against the guy. In fact, I've actually enjoyed the times I've talked to him on conference calls or anything. But I also think that he is the source of a lot of his own controversy that even though I like talking to him and I think he's been a good fighter in the past, he just seems to, sometimes he doesn't represent the sport as well as he could by his
actions,
more his tendencies, like his failure to make weight and then his making excuses about it. We're talking about the young assassin Melvin Guillard here. It's like, look, this guy has all the talent in the world, and he's not a shot fighter by any means. He's still a competitive fighter. He can still go out there and win some fights, and probably even win some fights people don't think he's going to, but he needs to show more professionalism. That's the word I'm looking for. Professionalism. Don't mouth off to the promoter, and don't miss weight.
For those who haven't heard, it's Melvin Guillard who we're talking about, and he signed a multi-year, multi-fight contract with Bellator. And
Melky Kawa was talking about this on the same show that he was talking about John Jones because he represents both.
And,
and said there was no interest in them going back to UFC. Just thought I'd make that clear since Melky Kawa said, we didn't even ask if they wanted Melvin Guillard. We don't want to go to UFC with him.
Bellator's lightweight division is pretty stacked. I'm reading from the press release here, and you gotta think, with Will Brooks, Michael Chandler, Marcin Held, Derek Anderson, Saad Awad, Dave Jansen, and Pitbull Ferrari. You're going into the Lion's Den here. There are some great matchups that Guillard could have, but that's a damn good division right there.
Yeah, it's well stacked and packed, and he's not getting easy fights just because he's going to Bellator. And when I talk about the professionalism, that's what I mean, because he complained that he was not getting good competition in World Series of Fighting. He called it the B League. Well, he better not make that mistake in Bellator. Don't go around calling it the B League, or you're going to get blasted out of there.
Exactly. And for those who remember him from Ultimate Fighter Season 2, he did okay there at that time, and transitioning to this season of The Ultimate Fighter, it's getting, what's the word, Stevie?
Intense.
Testy. For those who haven't watched it, go out of your way and check this out. It's getting good, and it's only just begun.
Yeah, and something new I'm going to be doing this week on Wrestling Observer, I'll be updating a live result for the show as it's in progress. So go to WrestlingObserver.com tonight at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central. Click on that link, and you'll see real-time updates from The Ultimate Fighter.
There you go. Speaking about UFC, Brad Pickett is going to bantamweight, and he'll be fighting Thomas Almeida at UFC 189.
Oh, that's not a good idea, Brad.
No, that's the show in July the 11th. Let's see. Do we really have to talk about this card again? It's getting ridiculous now.
No, it's not. But seriously, you're gonna get, that's like purposefully walking into a buzzsaw and hoping to not get chopped in two. I don't know what he's thinking.
I don't think it's going to be a fight pass fight, but it probably will be on the prelims because the way this card is stacked,
they're running out of room for places to put fights.
Good Lord. I mean, this show is probably going to be the show of the year, unless they really stack the December one.